in. Guys, apologies, man. I had to keep changing the time, man. I've literally just got home, a little while ago. Sorry, man, I need some water. But nah, listen, I flipping just come back from a run, man, an 8K run. So yeah, I was meant to go live at 12:30. Then I was thinking of changing it to 11:30, and then I just thought, you know what? Let me just put it back to 12 and get this done, man. I've had a mad day so far. But yeah, listen, man. As I said, I'll give you guys a stream. Wasn't planning to do one today, but you know what? I thought, you know what? Let me just jump on and at least just get something out there today. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little bit tired. I'm feeling a bit tired, but I feel kind of good, man. Just getting out there, getting some running in my system, and as I said, man, yeah, it's all good. But listen, we're gonna discuss, yeah, we're gonna discuss, and for me, this is a conversation that not too many people really want to have, but my channel, we don't shy away from conversation, and again, my opinion is my opinion. You can agree with my opinion. You don't have to agree with my opinion. But again, I love dialogue. That's the main thing. When it comes to football talk, I love dialogue. And this is a player that we're going to discuss in Jude Bellingham. He's got many fans. I'm not one of them. I'm definitely not one of them. And he is someone that does divide opinion, and obviously, having watched England yesterday, again, I don't really watch England too much, if I'm honest. I only watch England when they're playing up against the very best nations, because I think whenever England play the lesser teams, they are expected to beat them. But I thought, you know what, let me watch the Serbia game, because I was thinking Serbia might give them more of a test than these other countries that they've been playing, and it turns out really that Serbia were poor, really. Let's be honest. That they've got a lot of different players. Big up for coming on, man. They've got a lot of different players to what they used to have. You think of Vlahovic is now the main striker. I think Mitrovic didn't play. Yes, I did watch the game, and again, we're gonna get into it, man, because as I said, this is an unpopular conversation for many, but not for me, man. So we're gonna definitely get into it, yeah. But big up. So yeah, having watched the game yesterday, again, I don't really watch England too tough unless they're playing World Cup or Euros, or unless they're playing against one of the best nations. But I thought, let me watch the Serbia game, because Serbia, rather than the other teams that they have been playing, would give them a test. But Serbia weren't great, as I said, Mitrovic wasn't playing. Vlahovic leads the line now. No Sergei Milinkovic-Savic either. There was no Pavlovic from Bayern Munich. So again, it was a game where I just wanted to see how England would perform. And I think going into the World Cup, England have got a lot of players that that can do something in the attack, etc. They've got a lot of good players collectively, you would say. But I'm always going to remain, consistent in what I say. They're not winning no World Cup for me, because I've seen too much from England to know that when they play up against the best teams, yeah, they're going to come unstuck. They've got a lot of players that individually they could do a lot. But for me, when they play against the best teams, they're going to come unstuck. And yesterday was evident. I think Serbia were never going to trouble them. And England, in the end, ran out 2-0 winners. And it looked comfortable in the end. But what we're going to discuss, guys, we're going to discuss Jude Bellingham. Yeah? A player that, if I'm being honest with you, yeah, how a player of that level has found himself at Real Madrid is an embarrassment to football. I have to be honest, yeah? The fact that Jude Bellingham is playing in a number 10 position for England is a disgrace to football. The fact that we have to listen. Well, again, when I say listen, it's a choice, yeah? So again, you can choose to put the commentators on mute or you can choose to listen to them. But the fact that we have to that I listened to the likes of Lee Dixon yesterday doing Jude Bellingham's PR is an absolute disgrace as well, because Jude Bellingham is one of those players, yeah. You either rate him or you don't. Now, my years of playing football, watching football, there's no part of me there's no part of me, or there's no one that's ever gonna tell me that this is a top player. He has to be the most scruffiest of footballers I have seen for a while. And when I mean scruffy, yeah, I mean he's got like a scruffy touch. Um, the ball's never close to his feet. Like, even when he dribbles, obviously he's 6 foot as well, and the dribbling is just very awkward. Like, he's not a natural footballer. And when I have to watch Jude Bellingham, I'm thinking, this is a guy that has been held up by this country as being the saviour for England. And I have to say, yeah, it's actually laughable to think that you've got a player there that is nowhere near their England's best players from a technical standpoint, nowhere near it. I look at Bellingham, yeah, and I'm looking at, he's got the physicality in terms of he's a powerful runner, he's quite physical as well. But to see a player like that, and he's been held up in the way that he is actually a crime to football. It's actually a crime to football. And that game yesterday, yeah, this is why I've named it generational stinker. He was poor yesterday when he came on, yeah. But then what's happened with Jude Bellingham, and this is why I said that when I done a stream before on Bellingham, he's got the best PR in football right now, the best PR, and it's coming from these commentators that don't watch football, like Lee Dixon, ex-Arsenal right back, yeah. Again, Wacker just coming on just now. Obviously he'll know Lee Dixon, yeah. Lee Dixon was commentating on that game yesterday, and it's not the first time, yeah. Lee Dixon was just getting carried away with Jude Bellingham. And what he was doing, yeah, it's actually like, to the average football fan that hasn't watched football before, or you're quite new to it, you'll think that Jude Bellingham's a top player, because they'll tell you he's at Real Madrid, even though, if we're being honest, he's at Real Madrid, not for his footballing ability. He's there because he's a shirt seller, because it's PR, yeah? Now, Lee Dixon would have you believe that this is one of the best players you've ever seen. And not to mention, yeah, that performance yesterday when he came on, he was poor. And what they're doing is that because Morgan Rogers got the start and Bellingham's been held up in a way where, it's all about, let's give Bellingham the best ever PR to get his name back into the England fold, yeah? So what the commentators will do, and it wouldn't surprise me, yeah, if this is under instruction. This is how deep it goes, I believe, yeah? Because I watched that game when he came on, and he was poor. Like, he was giving the ball away. There was an instance in the game, yeah, where he tried to take on the Serbian defender, yeah? And you can just see that the Serbian defender just read him. And it wasn't a case where he had to try too hard. He just read what Bellingham was going to do and just took the ball off him. And then Bellingham's reaction was poor. It's like he's putting his hands up in the air. Fans would have been moaning at other players for not trying to get the ball back. But this player has just fooled so many people to thinking he's a top player. Big up to Barbara Joseph as well with the super sticker. Big up. Appreciate it. So as I said, yeah, guys, I will definitely get back to some of your comments and your questions once I've finished discussing what I discussed. And again, if you don't get your comments coming through, but again, this is something that I've said for too many times, and yesterday was a prime example, because you have to look, but you have to read between the lines on what's going on here. Yeah, Jude Bellingham was left out of the last England squad. He's been brought back, and because the media fanfare around Bellingham is we have to give him good PR to keep him relevant. Yeah. Now, the fact that Morgan Rogers started the game yesterday, yeah, was actually good from Thomas Tuchel, because he's letting everyone know that Bellingham's place isn't a guarantee, and it shouldn't be. And the fact that Bellingham, we have to see Bellingham playing a 10 when he's not a 10 to start with. And you've got the likes of Morgan Rogers, Eze, even Foden, Cole Palmer, and there's probably a few others, Morgan Gibbs-White, that will all play better as a 10 than Jude Bellingham. But when you've got the likes of Lee Dixon and the media just giving him false PR, like Lee Dixon said, like, what did he say again? Something that I was just laughing at. He said that Bellingham's come on and changed the game. He came on and changed the game. And again, to the average person that doesn't really watch football like that, or doesn't really have a keen interest like I do on the finer details, you would think that Bellingham did change the game if you heard from the game afterwards, because all they're gonna do now, and again, I've not even seen Sky Sports because I don't really watch Sky Sports like that. But I can guarantee you that they're actually doing PR for Bellingham right now, saying how much he changed the game, etc. And again, people need to read between the lines and just realize what they're doing. They're trying to force Bellingham into this England team, even though he's poor. Like, this is what I'm trying to say to you. The PR around this guy is ridiculous. I've never seen PR around a player who's that poor. Like, it's embarrassing. I watched that game. Even the pass that he played to there was I don't know if anyone remembers, yeah, he went for a 1-2. I'm not sure if the pass was meant to Eze, or if it was meant, or, I'm not sure if the pass was meant to, if it was Eze who was meant to be receiving the pass. But he actually missed the pass and he ended up at Foden. I'm not sure if anyone remembers the bit that I'm talking about. He went for the 1-2 and the pass actually went to Foden, but he actually meant the pass to Eze. Yeah. And as I said, man, the PR around this guy is nothing short of a disgrace to football. You know, and if you look at Morgan Rogers yesterday, was Morgan Rogers great in that game? I don't think he was great, but I can guarantee you this now. You're going to have the media and some of these pundits telling you that Bellingham was better than Morgan Rogers yesterday, which he wasn't. Bellingham was poor yesterday. He was giving the ball away. The ricochets, some of the ricochets he was getting, he was ineffective when he came on. The player that needs to be respected, and again, Arsenal player, you know. So obviously, you guys know my back and forth with Arsenal fans, yeah. But Eze came on, and that's what you call changing the game. And I'm not even talking about Eze's goal, because Eze's got that in his game. I'm talking about the fact that Eze's impact, you know, you can see that Eze's a 10, but he went onto the pitch and played from the left. And again, this is another joke here. To think that you've got Jude Bellingham playing in the 10 ahead of Eze, again, is a crime to football. Because there's no way that Jude Bellingham is a better 10 than Eze. Nowhere near it. He's not. And again, Eze's come onto that pitch here, and that is what you call an impact. You know, when he got the ball, Eze, he looked threatening. You know, the ball was close to his feet. You know, he was linking up with Foden when he came on, linking up with what's his name, Nico O'Reilly out there, and then obviously his finish just topped it off. Yeah, so you've got Eze having to accommodate Jude Bellingham. Now again, I'm not blaming Jude Bellingham in a sense. I'm blaming Thomas Tuchel in a sense, because although Thomas Tuchel didn't start him, which was good, yeah, but again, because Rashford came off and there's no one else that could play on the left-hand side, really, because there was no Anthony Gordon or no one else, the obvious thing would be to play Eze out there if you want to get Bellingham game time. But I just hope going forwards, we don't start seeing Jude Bellingham playing for England as a 10. No way. No way. I'd argue with anyone that tells me he definitely deserves a place in the lineup. I'm looking as far as I wouldn't even have him in the squad, because when everyone's fit, he doesn't get into the lineup and doesn't get into the squad for me. Like, people might think no way, but people are only saying Bellingham because he's at Real Madrid. I think if you're putting the whole Real Madrid to the side, yeah, would you take Bellingham ahead of Eze? No. Bellingham ahead of Cole Palmer? No. Bellingham ahead of Morgan Rogers? No. Bellingham ahead of, and I'm talking about number 10s, by the way, that can play there. Gibbs White. I'd have Gibbs White in there ahead of him. At least I know Gibbs White can be trusted with the ball. Central midfield. You're not going to play him central midfield because he hasn't got the discipline and he hasn't got the ability to dictate a tempo of a game either. So you wouldn't play him there. So there's no point even going there. The only place he's going to play is in the 10. And there's so many other better number 10s than Jude Bellingham. And again, like, it just makes me laugh, yeah, to see that you've got, and I'm picking out Lee Dixon. Yeah, I'm picking out Lee Dixon because Lee Dixon was just giving nothing short of an embarrassment of PR to Jude Bellingham. And I implore people to read between, as I said, read between the lines and have your own mind in realizing what these people are trying to do. They are trying to fool the public into thinking this is a top player. Like, if you watch the game, then let me know what you thought of his performances. I've seen some of your comments already, and some of you are saying that he was poor, and he was. And all you get after the game is Jude Bellingham. There's nothing about Eze, the goal that Eze scored, the impact that he had. You know, I'm a fan of Phil Foden as well. Yeah, I think Phil Foden's good. But the thing is, if we're being honest, Phil Foden's not playing for England. He's not starting for England. Everyone knows that. So again, you've got Lee Dixon doing PR for Foden. Because the very fact that Foden's playing in the false nine is telling you there and then that Foden's not going to be playing for England. You know, and when everyone's fit, it's a touch and go if he makes the squad. And again, that's nothing against Phil Foden because I like Phil Foden as a footballer. I do. But Phil Foden's not playing for England because he's not playing in the 9. That's Harry Kane's position. And he's not playing in the 10 because because Tuchel has already shown that he's got other players that's going to play there ahead of him. You know, obviously for England, for Man City, Foden's been playing as a central midfielder. Yeah. He's not playing there for England because Elliot Anderson, Declan Rice, even Adam Wharton are ahead of him. Not to mention you've got Jordan Henderson with his experience that probably will be in the squad as well. So the fact that you got these commentators doing PR for Foden and Bellingham, it's ridiculous, really. It's ridiculous. And as I said, man, I look at that performance yesterday from Bellingham. It was a generational stinker, man. He was poor. He was so poor. Like, and it's like these commentators will have you believe that he actually played well. That's the embarrassing thing. That is the embarrassing thing. Like, I can't think of anything he did well. And what has come to now with football is that he's getting praised for doing basic stuff because they're trying to force him into our faces. This is what's going on. You know, I've never seen a player as scruffy as Bellingham be at a top club like Real Madrid. Like, it's unheard of. And again, as I said, he's there because of PR. Like, I'd argue that with anyone. There's no one that can tell me that Jude Bellingham is at Real Madrid because they actually believe in his footballing ability. No way. Needed that. Yeah, there's no way that people can tell me that Jude Bellingham is at Real Madrid other than PR. You know, again, he starts for Real Madrid because I don't generally believe Xabi Alonso starts him because he generally thinks Bellingham is a top player. You know, there's a lot more that goes into it. There is. Like, you'll be a fool to think it doesn't, you know. But it's crazy. Guys, I'm going to go through some of your questions. Again, if you disagree, then let me know. If you think Bellingham played well, put that in the chat and then we'll discuss it. Or if you agree with me and you think he's a poor player and there's no chance of him starting for England, because I guarantee you this now, yeah? Like, and it's not even a surprise. He's going to go to the World Cup. He is. He will. There's not going to be a situation where Thomas Tuchel leaves him out and then risks the backlash of fans. And this is what football's become now. You know, if I was England manager, I'm not taking him to the World Cup because I've got better options there if everyone's fit. But he's going to be under pressure to take Bellingham, not because if he genuinely wants to take him, is because the fans, the media, they're going to be onto him if he doesn't take him. So he's going to be in there by default, Bellingham. The question is he going to start him? Because I tell you this now, if he starts Bellingham in the 10, there's issues. There's going to be problems. And the good thing that Tuchel has come out and said, and I touched on this before anyway, Tuchel has said that Bellingham, Foden, and Harry Kane can't all play in the same team, which is obvious. So really, realistically, that's telling you there and then, which we already know, that Phil Foden's not going to play. Because Harry Kane's the captain and the star man. So Harry Kane plays, which means Phil Foden doesn't. Because he's not going to play Phil Foden from the right or in the 10. So that's one player that is going to be touch and go for the squad. I don't think people are actually deep in this, Phil Foden, realistically, there's no point of Phil Foden really being in the England squad. When you've got Tuchel coming out saying that Foden, Kane, and Bellingham can't all play together, there's your answer. That's telling me that Foden's not going to the World Cup. I don't see no one talking about this. Foden's not going to the World Cup because Harry Kane will be. He's the captain. And if Foden and Kane can't play together, Kane's gonna play. So that means Foden doesn't. So what's the point? And then if you're thinking of Bellingham, if he does go, and you're saying that Foden, Bellingham, and Kane can't play together, then that just rules out Foden automatically. And then what happens? You got Kane and Bellingham, but the manager's already told us that they can't play together. I don't think people are deep in this. And I'm glad that Tuchel has actually come out of that, because it means that Harry Kane's going to play and Bellingham and Foden, really, they're touch and go for this tournament. I don't think anyone's actually deep in this, but I am. So did I watch the game? I did, man. I did. And as I said, England win these games because, like, end of the day, Serbia are going to give them a bit more of a tougher test than the other teams they've been playing, which is the likes of Moldova and all these other teams, yeah? But Serbia ain't great, you know what I mean? The games that I want to see England play are the games against the Frances, the Germanys, the Spains, the Portugals, the Hollands, the Brazils, the Argentinas, some of the African teams. They're the teams that I want to see England play and see what's going on. Because you're not really getting nothing from them playing these teams because they're going to beat them. You know what I mean? But we all know when it comes to tournament time, it's a different story. So let's go through some of your comments. So Ishmael says, how do I become a mod? Listen, if you want to become a mod, man, it starts by showing up every day and contributing to the channel, man. Obviously, I don't just mod anyone. I've got some very good mods that show up all the time. Obviously, I understand life gets in the way and they can't always be on. But the majority of the time, if you're on supporting the channel and you're, and I said, and if you're contributing to the channel positively, then yeah, listen, I'm not adverse to making anyone a mod that's contributing to the channel and supporting the channel. That is what it is. But big up. To be honest, I don't rate Bellingham too much. Listen, you're not the only one. You're not the only one. There is people out there that rate him highly. I had a friend, yeah, and I say I had a friend, yeah, because ever since he said that comment, I can't look at him straight in the face, man, because I just couldn't believe he was actually coming out with this nonsense, yeah. He had the cheek to tell me, yeah, with a straight face, he had the cheek to tell me that Jude Bellingham has the potential to be better than Zidane. That he told me that with a straight face. I had to literally ask him 5 or 6 times, like, are you meaning Zizou? Zinedine Zidane? Is that who you mean, or is it someone else? I literally had to ask him that a couple of times because I couldn't believe the nonsense he was coming out with. He told me Bellingham had the cheek to, Bellingham had the potential to be better than Zidane. And his excuse was because he took his number 5. And he told me that with a straight face, And this is where football's gone. To think that Bellingham is even being mentioned in the same breath as Zidane. Like, we're not talking about any normal footballer. We're talking about Zidane. And he had the cheek to tell me Bellingham potentially is better than Zidane. And you know what his answer was? I asked him, okay, what are you basing this off then? His answer to me, he scores goals. And this is where we moved on, guys. So these are the kind of people you got out here that just, it's a disgrace, man. An absolute disgrace. So when you're saying, when you're saying you don't rate Bellingham, listen, you're not alone, man, because he has to be up there for me as one of the worst players I've seen playing for a massive club. Has to be one of the worst players. Like, I just don't rate him not one bit. Like, he's poor. So you're not alone, man. You're not alone. Saka and Eze done it again. Listen, I mean, I wouldn't be adverse to saying it was Arsenal 2, Serbia 0. Like, you could say that if you want, but let's face it, man. There'll be tougher tests ahead. So that's the main thing. Saka changed the game. Bellingham did nothing. Now, I wouldn't say Saka changed the game. That's taking it too far. One thing I would say, though, is that Saka's finish was very good. Very good finish. But there was too many times where Saka was predictable, trying to cut in, get the shot off with his left foot. But as I said, man, yeah, he wasn't great, but his finish was very good. So you have to give credit where credit is due. But the person that changed the game, you could arguably say, you could mention Eze. He changed the game for me. But again, it wasn't like, when I'm saying change the game, Eze scored a very good goal and he was a threat. But I'm hearing, well, you got Lee Dixon saying that Bellingham changed the game. He's just lying to us. He's just doing fake PR for Bellingham. Because I watched that game and Bellingham didn't change no game. Like, you could arguably say that Foden was better than him when he came on. But they're just trying to force Bellingham in our faces and trying to just make sure that he starts for England. Because, again, his PR in terms of the media and these pundits is at a whole new level. It's embarrassing. So, again, he's not going to fool me to thinking that Bellingham played well or to think that Bellingham is a top player because, again, it's about opinions and I had my own mind. And as I said, man, there's no sort of commentator that will tell me that Bellingham played well, but they're all at it. These commentators, these pundits, the media, they're a big problem, man. They're just trying to force Bellingham into our faces. And for me, and as Wacker said, the only thing about Bellingham is that he speaks well. But I don't even think he speaks well. Like, what is speaking well? To the average person that ain't got a brain, you might think he speaks well. He don't speak well to me. He just speaks normally. Like, I'm not going to look at Bellingham and think that he speaks well. I'm not going to do that. Like, speaking is speaking. Like, because I've heard this nonsense about the way Bellingham's been brought up. He's been brought up to speak well and all this rubbish. Who cares about that, man? Like, all this stuff, man, is just laughable, really. He speaks well. Like, I don't know where that's come from. Like, who's to say he speaks well? That's what I want to know. Who says that he speaks well? He just speaks how he speaks at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's laughable. The only thing Bellingham for me has done well is that he's fooled the public to thinking he's a top player. That's all he's done. He just fooled the public to thinking he's a top player. And the amount of PR and the fanfare that he gets is just mad. It is mad. But so Bellingham walks into any Premier League team. Again, let's go through it as you've said that, and I hope you're still in the chat as well. So let's go through it. Does he walk into Man City's team? No, not for me. If I'm looking at Man City right now, they're playing the three in midfield, yeah? So you've got, on current form, Nico Gonzalez, Foden, and then who played the other day? Bernardo Silva. But then you've got Reinders, Rodri. Cherky can play as a 10. Marmoush can play as the 10. You've got options there. So for me, he doesn't walk into Man City's team. So that makes Man City out of the equation. Does he walk into a midfield 2 or a number 10 position for Chelsea? He's not better than Caicedo, so no. And he can't play as a midfield 2. If Lavia was fit, I'd have Lavia in there ahead of him in the midfield 2. And Enzo Fernandez as a midfield 2 is probably better than him in that position as well. Then you go to the 10. Is he better than Cole Palmer? No, he's not. Let's move on. So that's 2 teams already, Chelsea and Man City. He doesn't comfortably walk in there. So that's 2 teams. Let's go to Arsenal. Does he play in the midfield 2 at Arsenal ahead of Declan Rice and Zubimendi? He probably doesn't. So that's Arsenal's midfield 2 out the way. As a number 10, is he better than Eze? No. Is he better than Odegaard as a 10? No, he's not. So, again, he doesn't get into Arsenal, City, or Chelsea for me. Then we go to Liverpool. Liverpool's midfield 3 at their best. Yeah, whether you want to play 2 with a 10, or if you want to go for Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Gravenberch. I'm not going to put Florian Wirtz in there because Florian Wirtz on current form hasn't been great. But does Bellingham get into Liverpool's midfield ahead of McAllister, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai? No, he doesn't. So again, when you're saying he walks into any Premier League team, that's actually a lie. Because he doesn't get into Liverpool, he doesn't get into City's team, Chelsea's team, Arsenal's team, or Liverpool's team. Then we go to Newcastle. Yeah? Does he get into Newcastle's midfield of Sandro Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, and Joel Linton? You know, you could probably say, give or take, him or Joel Linton. Yeah? Okay, so you give or take him or Joel Linton. So it's not really much in it. Who else you want to go to? Because you've just told me every team, and I've just told you there's 4 or 5 teams he doesn't get into comfortably. You know? Does he get into what's the other team? Who's the other team? I'm trying to think. Aston Villa. Does he get into Aston Villa's midfield? Andre Onana, Yuri Tillemans, Morgan Rogers in a 10? Nah, I don't think he does. Because again, he can't play in the midfield 2. So you're only picking him really as a number 10, which he's not a number 10. And he's not a better number 10 for me than Morgan Rogers. He's not a better number 10 for me than Eze. Not a better number 10 than Odegaard. He's not a better number 10 than Marmoush or Ryan Cherky. So where are we going with this? He's not a better number 10 than Cole Palmer for me, even though I do think Cole Palmer's probably better from the right. So where are we going with this? He doesn't walk into any other midfield, any team in the Premier League. That's just a lie, and that's just PR again. And the fact that he's at Real Madrid, that's the only reason why you think that. But put Real Madrid to the side and just watch the games, you know? Jude Bellingham is a baller. No, he's not. You're just trying to become the next Lee Gunner. And you know what makes me laugh, yeah? These comments make me laugh because this is where football has gone, yeah? The fact that you're saying I'm trying to become the next Lee Gunner, which I'm not. And again, big up to Lee Gunner, man, because he has his own opinion. The problem in football now, yeah, is that there's too many people of the same opinion. And as soon as you say something which they don't agree with, you're trying to become this, you're trying to become that. At the end of the day, my background in football is strong. I've watched football for the entirety of my life. I've coached, and I just consume football daily, yeah? So when I have my opinion, I can back up my opinion. I don't need to try and become anyone. My opinion is my opinion. If you don't appreciate my opinion or don't like my opinion, you're not forced to be here. Don't watch me. It's as simple as that. But when you're trying to say I'm trying to become the next Lee Gunner because I have a difference of opinion to you, because you rate Bellingham highly, because you're being told to rate Bellingham, that's your problem, not mine. Like, no one's going to convince me that Bellingham's a top player. I've seen too much football. You know, it's my opinion, and I'll always back my opinion. It's as simple as that. Simple as that, man. Big up to Fitz, man. Big up. Big up. I couldn't believe how the commentary team was hyping up Bellingham's. Bro, listen, it's embarrassing, man. It is embarrassing. Listen, I watched that game. And again, I don't really watch England because, as I said, it's one of them things with me that I hate watching England play because I don't like watching England play against these nations like Liechtenstein and Luxembourg and these nations that they should be beaten up. Like, it's obvious. But I thought, let me take in this Serbia game and see, because Serbia will be a bit more of a tougher test than them teams. And guys, make sure we're smashing the like button and subbing to the channel if you're enjoying the content, if you're new in here as well. So as I said, when I'm seeing these commentators, and it was Lee Dixon, because Lee Dixon does this in particular. Yeah, he does this whole let's just hype up Jude Bellingham. He's done it before, yeah. When I'm hearing the commentary on these players, yeah, you have to be open-minded and realize what these people are doing. They are doing a disservice they're doing a disservice, yeah, to people like myself that consume football daily. They're doing a disservice to people that don't really take football in like that, because they will make you think that a lot of these players are a lot better than what they are. And as I said, there's no part of me that is going to be convinced by Lee Dixon that Jude Bellingham's a top player or that Jude Bellingham played well yesterday. I watched that game and he was poor. It's as simple as that. He was poor. So more of the time, just watch football on mute, if anything. I know it's difficult, but these commentators, they ain't got a clue what's going on. You know, they're just trying to push out a narrative for you to believe. And this is what these people do. So yeah, it was embarrassing, man. But they were doing PR for Foden as well. But if you just read between the lines, Thomas Tuchel has already told you, more or less, that Foden's not going to play, because he said Foden can't play in the same team as Bellingham and Harry Kane. Harry Kane's the captain, so Harry Kane's going to play, which means Foden won't. Otherwise, he's just lying to us. So, you know what I mean? So, read between the lines, man. These commentators are doing PR for these players, man. It's embarrassing. And I like Foden as a player, by the way. So, Bellingham was in fire under Ancelotti in the number 10 role. And again, I'm glad you've come out with this, Espa, because I'm going to put this notion to bed as well. Yeah? Now, when you're saying Bellingham was on fire under Ancelotti in the number 10 role, he wasn't playing as a number 10. He wasn't. Yeah? If you think back to when Bellingham got all those goals for Real Madrid, have a check what was going on. And again, this is a conversation for real footballing people that understand what's going on. Yeah? If you think of when Karim Benzema left Real Madrid played with no striker. They played with Vinicius Jr. as a left wing forward and Rodrigo as a right wing forward. Then they played a midfield of Luka Modric, and then it was either Valverde, Tchouaméni or Camavinga in the midfield. Bellingham was playing as a false 9. So he was playing as the more advanced midfielder come false 9. So they played with no striker. So again, Bellingham was more or less tasked with arriving late into the box, either getting tap-ins or getting headers. Obviously, he's 6 foot, so why are we surprised if he's getting headers? Yeah. So again, when people are saying that Bellingham was playing as a number 10 under Ancelotti, he factually wasn't. He was playing as the most advanced midfielder come false 9 because they had no striker. Now, fast forward, if you know your football, you know, and I had this conversation with people as the season was going on. Yes, you can hype up Bellingham because he's getting numbers, even though the system is allowing him to get numbers because he's arriving into the box as the most advanced midfielder because there's no striker. Now, fast forward, when a striker comes in, like Mbappe, why are we surprised that Bellingham's numbers are going to dry up? Like, these things are not really hard to work out. His numbers are going to dry up because you've now got a player that is playing where he was playing previously. Because there's a striker there now. Even though, for me, Mbappe, I still see him as a left winger. But he's playing as a striker for Real Madrid. So are we surprised that Burnham's numbers dried up? It's not a surprise to me because that's just football. He was the beneficiary of the system because they had no striker. Now, when a striker comes in, his role in the system is going to be adapted, which means he now has to play, as more of a number 10, even though to this day, I still just can't take seriously that he's playing as a number 10. So again, when you're saying he was on fire at doing what? That's what I want to know. Because I think people are only going to allude to the fact that he was on fire because he was getting numbers. But again, he wasn't playing as a 10. He was playing as a most advanced midfielder come false 9 and getting numbers. Numbers don't equate to you having good performances. Because I watched a few Real Madrid games when he played that role and he wasn't even playing that well. He was just a beneficiary of the system. Now you've got an actual striker in the team now. You notice his numbers go down. But these things here are not really hard to understand. It's just whether you want to understand it or not. And that's what happened. So, yeah. But big up, man, for the comment. But I disagree. He was on fire. So, Esbar says, is he better than Ugarte? Listen, Ugarte's shit, but Ugarte and Benham don't play in the same positions to start with. So again, if you're going to compare Jude Bellingham, compare him to where he's probably going to play, because he's a box-to-box midfielder in a 3. So if a team's playing a 4-3-3, playing him as one of the most advanced midfielders as a box-to-box, that's where he's best for me. He's not a number 10, never has been. But with a lot of teams that play a 4-2-3-1 and they play with a number 10, you can't play him as a deep-lying central midfielder because he can't dictate the tempo of a game. He's not good in possession like that, and he's not disciplined enough to stay in his position. So you have to play him a bit more advanced, which means this is why he comes into the number 10 position. But he's never been a 10. Just like Bruno Fernandes, he's not a number 10. When I have to watch Bruno Fernandes play number 10 before for Manchester United, it's a crime to football. And now you're still getting people saying that he's a number 10 when he's not. Benham's in the same boat. These guys are not number 10s. The number 10s that I remember are the likes of Riquelme, the likes of Del Piero, Totti, Zidane, Ronaldinho, Pablo Aimar, Bergkamp, Di Canio, Benito Carboni. I'm just reading off names just like that. These are what you call number 10s. And there's probably number 10s I've forgotten. Messi and Neymar are number 10s. Eden Hazard's a number 10. These guys are what you call number 10s, not Jude Bellingham and Bruno Fernandes. The fact that these guys are being called 10s in this era, it means this era of football's dead. It's as simple as that. Because there's no part of me that's going to accept that them guys are number 10s. No way. So is he better than Ugarte? It's not hard, but then he won't play the same position as Ugarte. So, and again, Bellingham in this system at Manchester United, where would you play him? This is the problem. Because is he better than Cunha as a 10? No. Cunha, he's not better than Cunha as a 10. And you can't play him as a 2 in midfield, as I said. So, he won't get into Man United. Bellingham gets into Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City team, Newcastle. No, he doesn't. Let's move on. Simple, he doesn't. You can say he does, which is your opinion, but I've just already told you why he doesn't. If you don't want to understand that, then that's up to you, man. But he doesn't. Guys, make sure we're smashing that like button. There's 21 of you in there, 6 likes. If you're enjoying the content and you're enjoying the realism, then smash that like button and sub to the channel. To me, he's the most talented England midfielder since school. You know what, yeah? Let me read that again, yeah? So, and I'm going to say your name, Addis, yeah? So Addis says, to me, and he's talking about Jude Bellingham, he's the most talented England midfielder since school. Now, what I would say about that, Addis, yeah? You're either, and no disrespect, yeah? You're either 12 or 13. It has to be that. You're either 12 or 13, or you haven't really seen football, because that has to be one of the most ridiculous comments I've ever seen. If he's the most talented England midfielder since school that you've seen, then we should just pack up and stop watching football. And I really mean that, because that's probably one of the worst comments. And again, you're free to your opinion, yeah? But that has to be or go down as one of the worst comments I've ever seen. He's one of the most talented midfielders you've seen. He's not even in the top 5 talented players in the England squad right now. I can name you 5 more talented England players in the squad right now. But you're telling me he's the most talented England midfielder since school. Like, you have to be 12 or 13. I'm sorry, man. You can't be older than that age to be coming out with nonsense like that. You can't be. Because that is ridiculous, man. But listen, it's your opinion, man. But yeah, that opinion just can't run with me, man. That has to be put in the bin, man. I'm sorry. But big up to Addis, man. Listen, big up, man. You've contributed to the channel, man. I appreciate it. But that comment is that's triggered me, man. I ain't gonna lie. Because I never thought I'd see someone say on the channel that Jude Bellingham is the most talented midfielder since school. You have to be trolling me, man. You have to be. So, my friend, a lot of people watch the game, even run up and down on a Sunday, tell their partners how they scored a screamer that went in off his knee, yet no FA about football. So, let me read this again. So, my friend, a lot of people watch the game, even run up and down on how they scored a screamer that went in off his knee, yet no FA about football. I'm trying to understand that. I mean, from what I'm getting from that, so they think Bellingham is a top player. Is that what that comment says? Listen, I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit. Yeah. And because the thing is, they're only thinking Bellingham's good because of PR and because of what the media tell you. That's what I'm trying to say to you. I don't watch Sky Sports. I mean, I only watch Sky Sports for the matches. I don't listen to these people talk. I'm not gonna have them tell me anything, really. Like, that's the actual truth. But I don't blame your friend, because they're being told to rate Jude Bellingham. You know, they probably haven't even seen him play too often, but they're being told to rate him. This is the problem, you know. So why all the Bellingham hate? Listen, I don't hate anyone, man. And it's not Bellingham hate. It's just football conversation. And again, yeah, for me, I love football talk. I love dialogue. Whether you agree with me or not, you know, it's like, personally, like, you don't have to agree with me. Like, you don't have to. Like, this is not what it's about. It's about having your say. And if you disagree with my opinion, then we can debate it out. Like, that's what it's about. But it's nothing to do with hate on Bellingham. You know, it's just that, you know, he's a player that, gets a lot of fanfare and PR, and he's half the player. That's the problem. So, and this is what I'm discussing. Like, it's nothing to do with hate, man. I don't hate any player. I don't have time to hate anyone. You know what I mean? I've got my own life going on. But what I would say is, when I'm hearing commentators trying to do PR for a player that I can see with my own eyes that isn't great, I'm going to speak on it because it's my channel and it's my opinion. So, yeah, it's nothing to do with hate, man. I just don't rate him as a player. Like, and again, I'm not the only one. The difference is, you know, I have a platform to express my opinion, which is what I'm doing, you know. And again, if you don't rate the opinion, then again, you're not forced to watch, man. And if you do, then big up yourself. So Cat Stone says, name the 5 midfielders. So if we're talking about England's team as a whole, so if we're going to talk about as a whole 5 players that are more talented than Bellingham, that's easy. Yeah. If we're going to talk about midfielders, that's also easy. So I'll name you central midfielders because I'm talking about, if you want to talk about the number 10 position, which is where England are playing him, then Cole Palmer's more talented than him. Phil Foden's more talented than him. Morgan Rogers is more talented than him. Eze is more talented than him. That's already 4 players. That's already 4 players, yeah? Gibbs White is more talented than him. There's your 5. Not to mention, you could play Kobe Minu in there if you wanted it. That's more talented than him. Jack Grealish, that I've not even spoken about, is one of England's best players. He's more talented than him. Jadon Sancho's more talented than him. Central midfield, Adam Walton's more talented than him. Elliot Anderson's more talented than him. Alex Scott, who just got called up, is more talented than him. I've named about 10 players already, maybe more. So there's your answer. So when people are saying name 5 midfielders that are more talented, it's not even hard. I've probably even missed out a few players as well. I'm talking about players that can play central, 10 or number, or in the midfield 2, where Bellingham is going to play in either position, more than 10. I've just named you 10 players or 12 players that are more talented than Jude Bellingham, and I wasn't even struggling. But I don't think people deep how poor this player is. It's PR that's getting him in conversations. As I said, I had a friend, that had the cheek to tell me he had the potential to be better than Zidane. Zidane, one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and he skipped out like he's not even talked about Lampard. He went straight for the boss, Zidane. This is what people are doing now. They're going mad. They're going mad. It's just ridiculous, man. So where do you rank him right now? In terms of what? In terms of what? If we're talking about England's best players right now, he's comfortably not in the top 10 for me. Comfortably. Not in the top 10. If we're talking world football, he's comfortably not even in the top 20 or 30. Don't think because he's at Real Madrid, you have to rate him or he's that good. He's not. He's not. He's been shoehorned into conversations because of PR and because of the fact he's at Real Madrid. Then people will turn around and tell you, well, if he's that bad, why is that Real Madrid? PR. That is why. PR. Shirt sales. That's it. There's no part of me that's going to look at Real Madrid and think that he's better than Arda Güler in the 10. He's not. He's better than Rodrigo in the 10. He's not. He's better than Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Valverde as a central midfielder. He's not. So listen, it's not really a surprise if you actually know your football, really. And again, it's opinion. If you don't agree, you don't agree. But there's no part of me that rates Jude Bellingham, man. He's poor. He's actually poor, man. Got to factor in Bellingham coming back from injury. I don't care about that. If you know your wrestling, man, Kurt Angle won a gold medal with a broken neck. I don't want to hear about that, him coming back from injury. Kurt Angle won a gold medal with a broken neck. Yeah? I don't want to hear about his coming back from injury. Let's not do that, man. Let's not do that. Injury or no injury, he's just not a top player for me. He's not. He's a Brit in Spain playing for Real Madrid. Of course they hype him. But there's your answer. There's your answer. If they're hyping him, there's a problem. So you've given me your answer. They're hyping him not based off of his ability, based off the PR. There's your answer. So you do know the guy plays for one of the best teams in the world. If he's not good enough, they're not gonna spend that much money on him. And again, I didn't even read this comment, yeah, before I spoke on this. This is what people are gonna do. They're gonna say he plays for Real Madrid. I fully understand he plays for Real Madrid. And again, they've spent money on him, but think of it like this. He's got a huge fanfare in this country. Yeah? He's got massive PR in this country. Real Madrid spending that money on Jude Bellingham doesn't make a difference because they're going to make that back in shirt sales anyway. So the fact that they spent that amount of money on him is minor because the shirt sales will pay for that. Yeah? Again, him playing in the Spanish league, his physicality will be a slight difference maker because that league isn't based on physicality. So when you're seeing players like him, Mbappe, even Rashford now doing well. Well, yeah, they're gonna do well because they're playing in a physical league. They're playing in a technical league, so their physicality will work. But if you play them players in, you know, let's say they played in the Premier League, they're not gonna have it all their own way because this league is based on physicality. That's the difference. So when you're saying the best team in the world, again, look past Bellingham. They've signed him for PR, not because they genuinely think he's a top player. Because there's no one on here that can tell me he's a better number 10 than Arda Güler. He's not. Arda Güler is more talented than him. He's more technical than him. And he's the kind of player that Real Madrid should be signing. Even Rodrigo, should be playing in the 10. Rodrigo's actually a left winger. But you can't tell me that Bellingham's more talented than them. He's playing because of the physicality and PR. That's it. Not because he's genuinely good. Big up to Exedra. Big up. Guys, I'm just going through some of your comments now. Yeah, big up to Admin TV as well. Exactly what I'm saying, yeah? These English fans, majority know nothing about soccer because he's English, he's the best since bred. Listen, that is the problem, And I've touched on this before, but I'll touch on it again, yeah? It's funny enough, actually, it was actually against Serbia. If you check when, I can't remember if it was the World Cup or the Euros, yeah? When England played Serbia, I think it was the first game of the group. And if you actually check what happened there, yeah, and this is when I realized that, well, I knew it from before anyway, but this is when I realized the Jude Bellingham thing, yeah. If you watch what Jude Bellingham done, yeah, and funny enough, it was Serbia's player yesterday, their captain Kostic, that it actually happened to. So the ball went out of play, and all the England fans were standing like along the far side, and what Bellingham did. For no reason, the ball went out of play for a Serbia throw-on. And then Bellingham runs over to go and retrieve the ball, I believe. But on the way, he barges Kostic for no reason. Yeah? And all the England fans started going, they started cheering, getting excited. And again, that's what you call PR. Because all the England fans will start saying, that's my captain, that's my Jude. It all plays part of the PR and the passion. Yeah? So if you actually check what he done there, he barged the guy for no reason to feed into fans. This is what he does. If you check when he misses a chance or whenever he runs to go and retrieve the ball, he does certain things to get fans that just the average fan on side. Trust me, like if you're not aware to these things, I've been aware from the get-go. If he misses a chance, what does he do? He starts kicking the post. He starts punching the ground as if he should be doing better. This is what he does, yeah? And these things all feed into the PR, the passion of Jude Bellingham. If you're an average fan, you're going to be invested in Jude Bellingham because this country is built on passion, hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. So Jude Bellingham is right up your street. This is the thing, and they do think he's the best thing since sliced bread. It's because they haven't got no time for any kind of other football. I do. I'm well versed in football. I watch football from all over the continent, And as I said, when you're getting people saying that Bellingham's, and again, I'm not picking on you, Addis, yeah, but when you're saying Bellingham is the best you've seen since school, I question how old you are for one. And I question the amount of football you've seen because that has to go down as one of the most ridiculous comments I've heard. But listen, at least you've given your opinion and you're staying on business. I rate it. So big up yourself, man. Big up. I don't agree with it though. Yeah, listen, Catstone. The guy told me better than Zidane. No word of a lie. No word of a lie. Like I've got friends that can vouch for that as well. He had the cheek to tell me that Bellingham had the potential to be better than Zidane. And I actually thought he was joking. I asked him 6 times, do you really mean Zidane? Zizou? Is that who you're talking about? With a straight face. And then he proceeded to make it even worse and tell me he's taken his number 5 shirt. He scores more goals. He actually told me that with a straight face. I kid you not, man. And I was just there thinking, yeah, man, listen, we can't talk no more. We can't, man, because I've never heard something so stupid in my life. Better than Zidane. This is what he was doing. So Bellingham is top for English players. England has a weak squad as always. When was the last time he did anything at a big tournament? I mean, that comment there, I don't know what to say really, because that just means nothing. So Bellingham is top for English players. Okay, that's an opinion. England has a weak squad as always. When was the last time he did anything at a big tournament? But what's that got to do with Bellingham the player? I don't get that. Let's move on. So who's behind all this PR? Media, pundits, fans. There you go. There you go. And commentators. There are better players in the Premier League than Bellingham. Easy. Easy. Yeah, I think he did, Fitz. I think he did, Brock Lesnar. I think he did, man. He did. So you want to see brilliant number 10s? Watch South Africa football. Big up, man. Listen, there's so many bet. Like, the thing is, the fact that people mention Bellingham as a number 10 is where football died. Because that is not a number 10. He's not. So are you serious? Bellingham is pretty good. Nah, he's not. He's shit. Let's move on. He's crap. So basically, you're saying he's a PR stan, great actor. That's exactly what I'm saying. Light skin, sharp hairline. That's where it starts. That's where it starts. Light skin and sharp hairline. Tell me otherwise. Tell me otherwise. If he was a brother as black as they come, you think he's getting the PR he gets? No way. No way. It's because he's light skinned and got a sharp hairline. I'd argue that with anyone. So Admin TV, I grew up with Bergkamp, Cantona, Zidane, Seydorf, etc. I've known great 10 since a youngster. There you go, man. I'm not even mentioning Clarence Seydorf. Clarence Seydorf, Eric Cantona. I knew there was more guys that I forgot about, you know. But this I'm trying to say to you, man. Like, yeah, this whole Bellingham thing is ridiculous, man. So what do you think about Vinny leaving Real Madrid? Yeah, listen, I've spoken this already. I'm not going to touch on it too long. But I've already said this. Vinicius Jr., as soon as Mbappe came in, was always going to be out of sorts. Because you can't have two players that are regarded as superstars in their own right coexisting in this Real Madrid team. Something's got to give. And the fact that Mbappe is the bigger name, you know, he's getting the goals, it means that, in a sense, Vinicius Jr. has become redundant. And I said this from the start. If I'm Vinicius Jr., I'm looking for a way out because as long just like Rodrigo, because as long as Mbappe's there, they're not getting any. They're not getting any. They're not going to get any praise really. It's Mbappe's team now, whether people like it or not. And I don't really rate Mbappe like that, but it's Mbappe's team, unfortunately. So why are you hating on Bellingham? Again, I don't hate on no one. I'm not hating on Bellingham. And the fact you're saying that I'm hating on Bellingham is because I have a difference of opinion to the majority. And I love that. I love that I have a difference of opinion. It means that I'm on the right side of the fence. Because I'm not someone, as I said before, I'm someone that has consumed football my whole life. Yeah? And I've played and I've coached. And it's one of them things where I don't go with the majority opinion. I go with what my eyes are telling me. You know, God gave me eyes and I use them. I don't just go with what the majority want me to go with. So when you're saying I'm hating on Bellingham, there's no evidence that I'm actually hating on Bellingham. I'm just giving you my footballing opinion and I don't rate him for many reasons. I can tell you all day long why I don't rate him. It is what it is. Right, do you know what it is, yeah? Do you know why I'm laughing, yeah? Because remember when I done the whole when Benham had the mental health thing that he come out with, yeah. I've just read a comment. So listen, my friend, Bellingham is suffering from mental health issues as per his interview recently between the lines. That's what he was saying. Current footballers are very soft in determination. Right, let's narrow this down, yeah? I don't give a damn if he's suffering from mental health. I don't. Because at the end of the day, there's many people around the world that suffer from mental health. They do. Why is it being talked about with Burnham? It's because Burnham's on TV and he's in our faces. But there's loads of people that suffer from mental health. Loads of people. Myself, I've suffered from mental health previously. Yeah? But the thing is, mental health is about a mindset for me. You know, if you've got a strong mind and you believe in yourself, that goes half the way to improving your mental state. It does. Keeping yourself fit and healthy goes half the way. So when I'm hearing Bellingham is suffering from mental health, yeah, the guy is in a position that the majority of people in the world would love to be in. Yeah. So I don't want people coming on here using his mental health as an excuse for why he's shit. Him being shit is because he's shit, not because of mental health. I'm sorry, man. I don't agree with that. So to come on there and use the mental health as a factor to try and defend Jude Bellingham is ridiculous. I look at the fact that it's very funny how he wasn't chosen for the England squad, the last international call-up, how he wasn't included, and then all of a sudden his mental health gets spoken about. Again, read between the lines. Why did it come out at that point? Because I guarantee you this now. Why wasn't his mental health come out? Now he's been called up. You know what I mean? Read between the lines, man. Read between the lines. The mental health come out when he wasn't included because it was a campaign to feel sorry for Jude. That's all it was. Read between the lines, man. Come on. So, can't lie, I agree with your take on Benham, but what I do like about him is that he pulls it in when surrounded by better players. Pulls what in? What is he pulling? What is he pulling? I don't know about that one. I don't know. I'm not sure what he pulls in, but big up. Agree with you totally, bro. Way overrated, and to be compared to greats like Zidane is crazy work from the blind ones. Can't disagree with that, man. Listen, if you're a real football fan, as I said, man, you wouldn't even make them kind of comparisons in the first place. As I said, when my friend said that, I looked at him differently from then because I just couldn't take his football opinion seriously after that. And I would have forgiven him, yeah, if he was actually joking. He told me straight-faced, that he's got the potential to be better than Zidane. That's what he told me, you know. Guys, come on, make sure we're smashing the like button and make sure we're subbing to the channel if you're new in here as well, if you're enjoying the content. Again, this content's free. It's not for everyone. So if you enjoy it, then again, make sure you smash the like button, help the channel to grow, and make sure you sub to the channel as well. What do you think about his brother also? I think his brother's more talented than him. That's the worst thing. I think Jude Bellingham is actually more talented, but his brother has the PR. So, yeah. So Bellingham is not shit. What the fuck? In what sense of the world is he shit? And if he's shit, who isn't? Nah, he's shit. AG, if you're still watching, he's shit. If you think he's not shit, that's your opinion. Well done. But he's shit. End of story. Let's move on. So you said believing in yourself goes half the way and keeping yourself fit is half of it. Which are you suggesting he isn't doing? So again, going by that interview, I haven't seen it, but I've seen some comments. It was some kind of fake bravado thing that he was doing, and again, you could clearly see that's what's going on in his game. Yeah. Now, what I would say, when he's coming out with the mental health stuff, yeah, and I've heard as well that he come out saying about there's certain content creators or whatever, you know, that are getting onto him or whatever, and they need to leave it out or something like that, I heard. That goes to not believing in yourself. So keeping himself fit, of course, is a footballer, but him not believing in himself, that could be one of the reasons. Because I'll give an example, yeah? Like, my channel, in what I talk about, my knowledge in football, etc., I believe in myself. Like, I don't care who doesn't agree with me, who does. Like, if you agree with me, then big up yourself. Like, it shows that we're on the same page. If you don't agree with me, then again, this channel's not for you to agree with me. So have your say and have your difference of opinion. And then if we come to common ground, then so be it. But it's about dialogue. Like, but the main thing is I believe in myself because I believe in my opinion. And that's what makes it most important for me. You know what I mean? Whenever I come out with stuff, I don't just come out with stuff for the sake of it. I come out with stuff because, as I said, just my experience in football that many probably don't even know. You know, obviously those close to me know, but many don't know. So whenever I come out with stuff, I have a backing for what I'm saying. That can be with anything, you know. So yeah. So he plays more conservatively. I don't think he does. Benham plays how he plays, man. He's a bundle of energy. That's what he is. Powerful runner. I mean, I remember people were telling me he's a very good dribbler. I mean, this is where football's gone. People think he's actually a good dribbler. It's crazy, man. Crazy business. Most fans will base opinions just from seeing he plays. But there you go. Perfect. Exactly. Because he's a 90 plus in FIFA and plays for Real, they think he's good. Like, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like, to think that Bellingham is a 90 rating in FIFA is madness. There's some top players, yeah, that didn't even get a sniff of having a 90 rating. But yet this guy just walks in with his PR on 90. Yeah, get out of here, man. I ain't going to take that seriously. Right, guys, another 5 minutes, then I've got to wrap it up. But big up yourselves. Make sure your comments are coming in. Make sure you're smashing the like button and make sure you're subbing to the channel. As I said, man, this is free content, guys. Free, real, hard-hitting content, man. It's a lot of conversations that people don't want to have. But not only do I enjoy it, but again, man, it's conversations that need to be had, you know? So, it is, man. But yeah, listen, England won that game yesterday, 2-0. Saka, to be fair, 2 great goals, man. Great goal from Saka and a great finish from Saka, should I say. And then a great goal from Eze. And when I'm hearing Lee Dixon saying that Bellingham made the difference, there was nothing on Eze. Like, and this is what I'm trying to tell you, is because he's doing PR to force Bellingham into this team. That's what's going on. And again, looking at England's team, yeah, England do have talent in their squad. If we go through their team, the players that I rate and I think are good, Reece James for me is the best right back in the game when he stays fit. There's no one that can tell me otherwise. I think the only player that can rival him for a right back is Hakimi. But I think as a right back, Reece James is the best in the world for me when he's fit. I like Ezri Konsa. I think Konsa's a top defender. Top defender. And I think he needs to be either alongside John Stones or Mark Guehi for me. So I like Konsa. Again, I rate John Stones. Injuries have killed his career. But John Stones is a top defender. You know, if anyone remembers John Stones' early career, this was a guy that was getting criticised heavily. But he's turned it around at Man City under Pep. He's a top defender. And I like Mark Guehi. So again, 3 of the back 4, I like. You know, I think they're all good players in their own right. Left backs, I rate Nico O'Reilly. Again, Nico O'Reilly, many probably don't know, Nico O'Reilly is actually a number 10. He's actually a number 10, yeah? And then now he plays left back. So I'm trying to say to you, man, that's someone that you call adaptable. But I rate him highly. And if you look at it now, Man City brought in Ait Nouri. O'Reilly's keeping Ait Nouri at the team. And obviously he's been injured as well. But O'Reilly's just come from nowhere, really, to become a regular starter for Man City at the moment get into the England squad. So again, man, they've got some good players. Then you go on to midfield. I don't rate Declan Rice as highly as what the media does. I just think Declan Rice is a good player. But when I'm hearing world-class shouts, I think that's overstepping the mark. I think his delivery from set pieces and corners is top, very good. No doubt about that. As a player, I don't rate him as highly as what a lot do. I just think he's a good player. Elliot Anderson, I think is a very good player. You know, again, it's still early because he's just kind of relatively come onto the scene. But I do rate him. I do think he's good. Adam Wharton, for me, is a top player. He is. And again, just like Elliot Anderson, these guys are going to be good players. You know, they've got what it takes for me. Jordan Henderson, I don't rate him highly, really. But in terms of his leadership and his experience, you know, you have to respect that, you know. But and what he's won with Liverpool, you have to respect that. But I don't really rate him as a top player. I remember there was people saying that he was better than Paul Pogba. Again, just shows you where the game's gone. You know, another ridiculous comment. Morgan Rogers, I like. I think Morgan Rogers is one of England's best attackers. I do rate him highly. Benham we've spoken about. I don't rate him at all. Who else is there? Foden, I do like Foden, but the problem with Foden is that he's becoming very quickly a jack of all trades and a master of none, because he can play as a false nine, he can play from the right, play in the 10, play central, and these things are all good, but then when you're trying to nail down a position, this is why he's struggling for England, because they're now playing him as a false nine. That's just telling you he ain't going to play. But I like him as a footballer, Phil Foden. Saka, again, just like Declan Rice, I think is a very good player. But when I'm hearing world class and, you know, he's on Yamal's level and he's on Elise's level, he's not. He's just a very, very good footballer, Bukayo Saka. He's very good. But he's not that level. He's not. There's good and there's elite. And he's not elite for me. Nowhere near it. But he's good. Rashford, again, another one that is up and down. Again, Rashford's a good player, but not special for me. The fact that he's doing well at Barcelona, I'm not surprised, because, as I said, he's got the physicality for that league in terms of his pace. But he's a good player, but nothing more. And Harry Kane's Harry Kane. Harry Kane, for me, is one of the best strikers. Well, he's the best striker in the world right now for me. You know, people will say Haaland. Haaland's up there, no doubt, but I'm looking at all-round play, and Harry Kane's always had an all-round game. So for me, Harry Kane is what you call world-class for me. He is world-class because the goals, the creativity, the touch, just everything about his game. The one blemish on Harry Kane that I've always said is when it comes to the Champions League and the World Cup, he's going to need to be the difference maker to get England over the line. Otherwise, it's going to be the same thing. Harry Kane, great player, great goal scorer. But when it comes to him getting club or country over the line, he doesn't do it. And this is the question mark. This is the question that he's got to answer, you know. And then, again, Eze's a top player for me. He's a top player. Who else? Yeah, there's loads of players. Jack Grealish for me. Jack Grealish for me is one of England's best players. It's criminal that Grealish don't even get into the squad. It's criminal. Because he's one of England's best players. But because he doesn't get numbers, this is what people care about now, is numbers. It's where football's gone, unfortunately. But it is what it is, man. Eze seems to have stepped up a notch this season. I don't think he has. I think Eze is not the same what he was at Palace, because Arsenal don't play in that way. They don't give freedom to players like Eze. So Eze, you can tell, is playing within himself. So this is why I said him going to Tottenham, he would have been given that freedom by Thomas Frank to be the Eze at Palace. But at Arsenal, it's too systematic, and he can't really be a free spirit in that team, you know. But he's a top player, Eze. I rate him highly, you know. But I don't think he's going to excel at Arsenal as much as he should. Can tell O'Reilly is naturally an attacker. Always seems to be getting up the pitch and getting shots off. Yeah, he's naturally a number 10, man. He's a very good player, O'Reilly. I like him a lot. You know, and again, it's another player coming from the youth that Pep has unearthed. And now you can see, you know, what he's doing, man. So it's that. So, but yeah, guys, listen up. Big up yourselves. Big up to all the mods each and every time. 6th stream. Big up to everyone contributing as well, whether you disagreed or whether you've agreed. But yeah, make sure you smash the like button on the way out and make sure you sub to the channel as well. You know what? I wasn't even going to do this stream today because I've literally been rushing around. Obviously, I come back from a run earlier as well, done a just under 10K run. So yeah, I was feeling a little bit tired, man, coming back. I ain't gonna lie, man. But you know what? I thought, let me just get on, give you guys some content. And to be fair, it's been a 6th stream, man. So yeah, obviously you guys have contributed as well. So it's much appreciated. And yeah, it's just it's one of them things, man. So yeah, it's one of them things. But listen, we got some boxing to look forward to on Saturday. Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. Guys, before we wrap up, just give me your predictions on what you think. I'm gonna tell you mine. I think Eubank Jr. stops him in round 10. Round 10, I'm gonna say. You know, but it's gonna be a great fight anyway. I know some of you think it's gonna be a trilogy, but I don't know, man. I think Eubank Jr. stops him in round 10. Any thoughts on Jericho looking like returning to WWE? Bro, I didn't even know that, man. But it's crazy because wasn't he part owner of AEW? Which is mad. But yeah, he hasn't been in it for a minute. Jericho. But yeah, listen, I love watching AEW, man. I want to see Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay back in there. I know they got injuries, man, but I want to see both of them back in AEW. I want to see Bobby Lashley as well go for a title run. I mean, him and the Hurt Syndicate, obviously, him and Shelton Benjamin were tag team champions, but I want to see him go back for another. I want to see him go for the title, if I'm honest, in AEW. The storyline with Samoa Joe and Hangman Adam Page, yeah, it's a bit boring for me, man. But then again, the whole storylines at the moment is pretty shit, I think. Death Riders obviously going up against the conglomeration, I think. Is it? It's conglomeration with Roderick Strong and Darby Allin and that. That's a bit boring now, man. I want to see some different storylines, but it is what it is, isn't it? So he went on podcast basically saying AEW is 3rd best promotion right now and contract up at the end of the year. So it's all looking like a Royal Rumble return. No way. No way. So what? Who's he saying is the 1 and 2 then? What is he saying? WWE and TNA that are 1 and 2. A Royal Rumble for Jericho, you know. Madness. Rocky 2-2 ending draw. A draw, you know, for Eubank and Ben. I'm definitely gonna say Eubank wins round 10, man. But if it is a draw, then so be it, man. Then so be it. It is what it is, isn't it? But yeah, guys, listen up. I'm gonna have to shoot anyway. But big up to all the mods. Big up to yourselves each and every time. And I say big up to all the newcomers as well. And again, if you haven't smashed the like button, make sure you do. If you haven't subbed to the channel, make sure you do as well before you leave. And as I said, if you agree or disagree with the Jude Bellingham talk today, then let me know, man. Let me know. Yeah, 6th stream fits, man. Big up. If you disagree or agree, let me know. As I said, we're not here to agree or disagree. It's about having your own opinion, and then we debate it out. And as I said, if we find common ground where we can see it from both sides of the fence, then so be it. So, but I just implore people to not be fooled by commentators, the media, and a lot of these pundits, because these guys are trying to push a narrative. And as I said, there's none of them that's gonna influence me. That a player like Bellingham's a top player when I've seen too much football. So it is what it is, guys. But big up yourselves each and every time. Smash the like button, sub to the channel, share the channel, and yeah, I'm gonna catch you guys maybe tomorrow. Not sure yet. But as always, keep an eye on the schedule. Make sure your notifications are on. But yeah, it'll be either tomorrow or Sunday. But we'll try and fit something in anyway. Because there is some news that I want to touch on with Manchester United, which I was going to touch on today. But you know what? I'll probably do it tomorrow. I'll see. Tomorrow or Sunday. But keep an eye anyway. But yeah, big up yourselves. Smash the like button, sub to the channel. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in a bit. Take it easy.